somebody to put a remote and do participate in the meeting. Now, in fairness, he has subsequently said, he made a mistake. But at the time, he ruled that the guy was overseas somewhere, participated in the whole meeting, voted 7 times. But upon reflection, he decided that might not have been a good idea. Yeah.
Well, so this is like coming here. Happy days. Happy days. And I literally looked at. I don't me actually recognize. Anybody. Brunswick County. Which, that's a good chance. You automatically.
If you win.
Yeah, if you win. Yep. And I don't think it'd be a question of how you. Yeah. And I think. If you make some sort of. They wouldn't be there. Yeah. Anywhere.
How far back?
Yeah. That's not good.
Before we get started, there was supposed to be a pastor here tonight. Is he here? Okay, thank you. Everybody got their mics on? Got your mics on?
Yep.
You good? Hi, welcome to the Graham City Council, April 11th, 2023 meeting. Appreciate you all being here tonight. If you will all bow your heads as we do the invocation by Ricky Hall.
Let's pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we come at this time thanking you for this wonderful day you've given us. And Lord, we come at this time thanking you for the wonderful community we have and for the workings of our community. Lord, help us tonight as we do our workings that will do what is pleasing unto thee. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
You all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business is the proclamation for the Small Business Week. I would like to ask Reagan and Gorell from the Alamance County Chamber. She's the president and CEO, David Putnam, who is a senior economic development developer there, and Kevin, I'm not going to say this name right, Sostak. Okay, he's the Director of Economic Development Projects. Stephanie Williams, the Director of Small Business and Entrepreneurial Development. Kelly Roberts, Senior Director of Investor Engagement, and small business owner Griffin McClure from Green and McClure Furniture to please all come forward. Yes, you guys can come on up here. You get the big stage, right? So whereas for more than 50 years, the U.S. Small Business Administration has celebrated National Small Business Week, which recognizes the critical contributions of America's entrepreneurs and small business owners. And whereas Small Business Week is now observed throughout the nation, and whereas we recognize the important role that small businesses play in bringing innovation, quality of life, jobs, and investment to the city, and whereas small business owners are historically leading donors to the local community through financial gifts and volunteer hours, and whereas focusing on entrepreneurial development and supporting small businesses provides a stronger, more resilient economy. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Jennifer Talley of the City of Graham and the Graham City Council, do hereby proclaim the first week of May as Small Business Week in the City of Graham. Furthermore, I urge all residents to recognize the value of small businesses and to support them through patronage and advocacy. This, the 11th day of April, 2023. Thank you. Is something you'd like to say?
Council, Mayor, we appreciate this opportunity to proclaim this week going forward for small businesses as a part of the larger Alamance County Chamber community of businesses and a part of downtown Graham's historic business community. We appreciate it, and I thank you for the partnership and the encouragement.
Anything you'd like to say?
On behalf of the Chamber staff, Board of Directors, we appreciate your recognition of Small Business Week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. Yes, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will say to that end, I hope that everyone recognizes the importance of small business, that we here, our staff, when we have the opportunity to price shop and look around and find that we have opportunity to buy here local, which keeps our sales tax here local, which keeps property taxes low, it employs local jobs. It's always just such a plus for us to be able to do that, both with our city staff purchases that we make here, and also just personally going around and trying to make sure that we shop local. We have businesses that are always, we have new businesses opening, we have businesses, our downtown being revitalized, new businesses looking to move here, North Carolina last year being the place to come if you're a new business, right? And I think they just ranked North Carolina the third in the nation for people moving here. So very excited about all the people that want to come here and open a new business, and we highly encourage that. So thank you so much for being here. Have a good day. The consent agenda. A, to approve March 14th, 2023, the City Council meeting minutes. B, to approve an audit contract with Stout, Stewart, McGowan, and King for $22,500 to audit the City of Graham accounts for fiscal year 2022-2023. To approve an agreement between the City of Burlington and the City of Graham to continue the partnership to maintain geographic data, develop GIS services, establish regional geographic information system standards, and adapt A resolution amending the Regional Geographic Information Systems Agreement. D, to set a date of public hearing for May the 9th, 2023, to consider extending the corporate limits of the city of Graham for a tract of land totaling 53.90 acres and to direct the city clerk to investigate the sufficiency of the petition. E, to set a date of public hearing for May 9th, 2023, to consider extending the corporate limits of the city of Graham for a tract of land totaling 14.717 acres located on Luther Drive and to direct the city clerk to investigate the sufficiency of the petition. F, to approve tax releases in the amount of $8,229.94. I need a motion well, was there any item on the consent agenda that a council member would like to have removed?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I need a motion and a second to approve, deny the foregoing consent agenda.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve as written.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. The next item on our agenda is a public hearing. City Council will consider a request to rezone 1.52 acres located at 1952 East Webb Avenue from R7 High Density Residential to CR Conditional Residential to construct a 48-unit multifamily structure. This is a public hearing, and I want to recognize Assistant City Manager Aaron Holland.
Thank you, Mayor. As you just stated, this is a request to rezone 1.52 acres at 1952 East Webb Avenue, GPN number 88747666479 from R7, which is a high-density residential, to CR Conditional Residential to construct a 48-unit multifamily senior living facility. This rezoning request is only for the area that falls within the Graham zoning jurisdiction and city limits. Although the entirety of the project crosses over Graham and Burlington limits. Just want to throw that out there. The developer is proposing 66 parking spaces, which is up from the original proposal of 48. And it would be 16 one-bedroom units and 32 two-bedroom units. Planning board did recommend approval for the rezoning request at their planning board meeting last month with the conditions that they add the additional 18 spaces up from the 48 that were originally proposed, as well as adding a fence along the rear of the property and along the sides to the front of the building. And I believe the applicant for the project is here as well to answer any questions that you may have for him as well.
How many bedrooms did you say again? I'm sorry.
It's 48 units,
So, yeah, but you said 16 one bedroom and
32 two-bedroom.
okay, this is a public hearing. If you would like to speak tonight, we would ask that you come to the microphone and state your name and your address.
Good evening. My name's Stephen Brock. I'm the applicant. I live in Annapolis, Maryland, though a proud North Carolina native, born and raised for 45 years. The product as proposed is age restricted. It's 55 and older is the product and demographic we'd be serving, income restricted. I ask for your approval tonight, subject to any changes that you may wish to impose so that I can proceed with my funding application deadlines. I did want to first start off with a clarification. I did make a misstatement in the planning meeting. I want to clarify. I said that we would the siding on the building would be brick and hardy. That is typically what we've done, but in this new cost environment and with some product enhancements, we'd be looking to do brick and vinyl shake. So I just wanted to get that out there. Um, the, the design, as you can see, covers both the Graham and Burlington. The parcel covers both Graham and Burlington city limits, to kind of keep things simple and working with the shape of the parcel and the topography and the stream and the sewer line. We've put the building on the Graham side, and with the entrance on the Burlington side. That's really the only road access is on that side. So we've really, I think, reacted to and worked with the constraints that we've been given as best we can. And this is the design that comes with that. One item planning board asked for is a fence in the back, shown there in red. I don't know if you can see it there along the back border of the building. As I returned home and spoke with my architect and management company, we talked about that, and I would ask for removal of this condition. It's an opaque, either 6 or 8 foot fence. I can't remember how tall, but the issues we're concerned with is that it's, number one, it's backing up to a wooded area with some easements back off of our parcel. So I don't feel like from a security standpoint, it accomplishes much. Those kind of fences kind of become a buffer, I mean, a magnet as well for graffiti. It just sort of invites some trouble in that way. And it can even sort of screen sort of nefarious behavior behind the fence. And I think an open view shed is the way to go. If council still wishes to have the fence, we'll honor that. I won't fight too hard, but just want to make that request. And that will end my comments unless you have any questions.
There's some additional pieces behind that section that have kind of been landlocked. Is anybody else, I mean, I think they're already zoned multifamily. Would there be further development back there coming off of your property?
Not to my knowledge. If there are plans, I'm not aware or involved with them. The owner of the property is here, Brian Wagner. He could maybe speak to that.
Brian Wagner, my address is 2937 Lowell Drive, Burlington, North Carolina. At this time, I have no contact with the owners of those properties, and unaware of any plans that they may have for those parcels.
And how tall was the fence that was proposed by the 6 feet? Where's the lighting? Can you tell me a little bit about the lighting that you have?
It's not shown on the plan. We haven't really designed that at this point, but typically we do whatever is required in the code, and usually Duke Power provides the parking lot lighting.
That's correct. The Duke Energy, whenever they go through TRC, they will submit a lighting plan that will be based off of the standards. So.
Well, I just think motion sensor lighting, if you're concerned about things being done on those vacant lots behind there, I think, having a fence does, in my opinion, discourage that. Because it's not like they were using as a cut through. And just knowing the area there's a convenience store across the street, Webb Avenue, and people do tend to take the shortest route and cut through other people's property, even though it's not necessarily designated as a pathway. But I think fences make happy neighbors. It's just my experience, but I like the idea of the fence. I like the idea of motion sensors. I think that keeps anybody from trying to pitch a tent or do something that they're not supposed to be doing, like graffiti and things. So I highly encourage the lighting aspect to it, which I don't think was something that was brought up in the planning meeting. And I like the idea and the look of the brick and the hardy. So tell me, I'm trying to like re-envision. Do you have that picture of what it looks like from the facade, Aaron? So are you saying that it wouldn't be the hardy plank then in between the brick areas, it would be like some sort of vinyl siding?
Right, the brick, as shown is accurate. That's the sort of pinkish at the bottom and the dark red. The upper areas that show as vinyl would be sort of a vinyl shake kind of product. It looks very similar to hardy plank, and that's correct. It would.
Can I see that picture? You said this is vinyl?
Yes.
Under the current ordinance, what would the number of parking spots be required for the number of units? It's cheap based on the bedroom size.
According to our ordinance, for a 1 and 2 bedroom unit, you would be required to put, if this was a standard multifamily, you would be required to do 1.5 spaces. But we also have in our ordinance, which that would equal out to about 72 based on 48 units. But we also have in our ordinance that speaks to federally or government-based multifamily, which this would fall underneath, and that only requires 1 space. So they're actually doing more than, say, if this property was just zoned multifamily, straight multifamily, and they want to do this product, they actually could go in with only 1 space per unit. So they're actually closer to the
Yeah,
requirement.
but it's not zone multifamily,
No, it's not.
right? So
What about handicap spaces? Because, I mean, I'm looking at the drawing and I see 6 on the drawing. I don't know if that's accurate. That's why I'm asking how many, since it is for older folks, you know.
I believe 6 is just shown as the minimum. We could certainly designate more of the ones as handicap.
do you have any amenities on site? I saw the one that you said that you referred me to for Forestdale, which was another, well, it's different than this. It's not 55 and older, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, it's just it's an affordable housing development, right?
Right.
Right.
We call it family or general population.
Okay. And, but you have a dog park there and you have,
That's a playground. We don't allow pets
Oh.
in these.
I thought I saw it said on there, I thought it had something with a dog sign on there. Oh, okay. So it's, you have a park. Is it a playground?
It's a playground, yes.
Okay. And then you have, like some seating areas, right? With pergolas and, I think a swimming pool and things like that.
No swimming pool.
No, I mean, I'm talking about at the
at
other,
Forestdale, right?
yeah.
It's,
So are you offering, I mean, obviously this is 55 and older. We don't, probably not amenable to a swimming pool or to a dog park, or if you're not going to allow pets and, but I do think like walking, like a walking trail or something that would be, or the sitting area like that you have with the pergolas over there at that other development.
So the funding that we use is allocated by the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency. It it's relevant to the parking item he was just describing. They have very strict design standards. They review every project in its detailed design. They actually inspect construction as well. But for family or elderly developments, they have specific amenities that they require. So for the elderly product, they like a gazebo, which we have shown there by the pond, overlooking the pond. We had that a little closer to the building earlier, but moved that in order to make room for more parking. We have behind the dumpsters, we have which the back side of the dumpsters, by the way, the back and side will be brick, and then the front will be gated to screen it nicely.
Can you show me where the dumpsters are?
So it's upper left corner. Yeah, right there.
Right there, okay.
So just right behind that is are some raised vegetable garden planters we'll have. They'll be overseen by property management for the residents that they can do their own gardening. And we have some other benches scattered throughout the site. Many of the amenities also required by NCHFA are in the building. We'll have, of course, a management office, but we'll also have a community room with a kitchenette for social events and gatherings. It'll have a restroom as well. We'll have a computer room and a fitness room, and we will have all units will have washer dryer hookups, but if for those that don't have, or maybe their washer dryer's out of service, broken or something, we'll have a laundry room on each floor. I think on each floor. Now I can't remember, but we will have one or two laundry rooms, and we'll also have storage, dedicated storage bins for any extra storage that they may need. So,
And where are the storage areas at? Are they on the back part of the property?
it's in the building.
Oh.
It'll be essentially like, it'll be in one of the spaces where a unit might otherwise be. So it'll be a room or giant room unto itself with storage pins.
Okay. And I think there was another question that I had was, I think I had asked you if you had any elevation.
Yeah, do you have that on the slide? You can. Well, if not, I've got one here.
The geographic
Oh, there it is.
topography or building elevation?
Building? or-
No, the building elevations as it relates to like the area, like,
The floor plans?
well, just no, the existing topography. So
Oh.
behind that building is the rear of the houses, the residential houses on Border Street. Is that right?
So, right, border.
Or is it
Border
just,
Street is
or,
to the north of this site. Oakley Street is to the east. From the building to the back doors of those Oakley Street homes, you're looking at 375 to 400 feet, and you have mature trees in between those homes and the proposed building. To the north along Border Street, you're looking anywhere from 375 to 450 feet. And again, you have mature forest in between those.
how much of a buffer are you gonna, can you go back to the plans there? How much of a buffer are you gonna leave there of the mature trees?
On the backside,
Yeah,
that sort of gets into the landscaping, that's in a landscaping buffer zone. So I think maybe I might look to Aaron to see if that requires starting over, or if we're allowed to.
no, I
preserve-
mean, I'm just saying like you're gonna be building all the way up to the property line. Is that what that's what I'm asking you?
25-foot setback off the rear.
Right, about a 20-foot setback.
Right, but he's gonna be clearing and then
Wait,
putting
so-
back new landscaping all the way up to the property line. Is that correct?
So that-
Okay, all right. And then the ones that are to the south there, are you saying those are gonna be trees that you're gonna just clean out around, or are you gonna be
On the, on the opposite side of the stream,
the Burlington side?
those generally will leave. We don't have any need to develop that in any way.
To take those down, so you're gonna leave that natural buffer?
Totally leave it as is, yes.
Okay. We like building with the land.
Makes it a little easier.
Mhm. This stripping is not, we're not fans of that, I don't think.
Right.
But, it looks like a beautiful building from the renderings that you've given, and, there's certainly a need for affordable housing with, residents that are 55 and older, so, I would love to figure out how we could talk you into keeping the hardy plank and keeping the fence and adding some lighting, but those are my only things. I think that's pretty. I hope I haven't been too hard on you. I just had questions,
No, not-
clarifications.
Not at all. I mean, our goal will be, if the budget is there, we will maybe step up to Hardy, but just the way things are. Cost wise, it's one area we feel like we can, again, with improvements in the materials, we can do that. Lighting, of course, we'll do, and it'll be a comprehensive lighting plan from our civil engineer.
Well, I know Alamance County isn't the most that you can get from the North Carolina Housing Funding Agency, but we're the second. So, I mean, at least we're not,
Number one this year.
oh, we are.
Yeah.
I didn't know that we had moved up to number one.
in
When
the
I looked
state.
at I was looking at I wasn't looking at the 2023, I was looking at the 2022.
Yeah, and they change the rules a little bit every year in the central, you're in the central set aside, and
So doesn't that buy us some hardy plank?
it doesn't get us more money, unfortunately.
It doesn't?
No, I wish it did. I told them, but they didn't listen to me on that.
Bonnie, do you have any questions?
Since this property, part of it's in Burlington, part of it's in Graham, I'm not real clear on what the taxations, would it fall under Burlington? Would it fall under
So
Graham?
The
As
piece,
far as revenue,
the piece with
or
the
is-
building would fall under Graham, and it'll be taxed separately. And then the vacant lot that's developed but not cleared would just be taxed under Burlington.
land tax.
Yes, and I'm sure there's a reason why he wants all of his residents and his building to be taxed in Graham, because we're cheaper than Burlington.
We got better water than.
So the water hookups will be coming from Graham and sewer? Will be
Oh, I don't
Graham?
think so,
How's that-
no.
How's that work?
We have a sewer easement that you see on their side of the stream, yeah.
Hmm.
Yes, that's a city of Graham sewer line, so it comes from our city of Graham sewer system, but the water will be from Burlington. And then Graham and Burlington will work out on the backside.
Yeah, because that's usually done together, so that's gonna be
Yeah.
Okay.
and-
When you say all over the
Mhm.
place,
I'm
Mhm.
sure there are, yeah. All the questions I had.
Do you have any questions, Bobby?
well, I'm glad to see that you increased the number of parking spaces. Because what originally was proposed in the planning board, it's like, seniors have, are not one-car families. They're no different than anybody else. There are two adults, there are two cars. So I'm glad to see you added more, so now it's 66 spaces, but that was my only concern.
I will tell you that from owning an apartment complex, you do not want to have too few spaces. That's all you hear about. They're parking in my space. They're parking in my. space." Go ahead. Do you have anything, Joey?
No, I am in favor of leaving the fence as well. Or just,
I am too.
I think, like Jennifer, like Mayor Tally said, it makes good neighbors, and I think it'll cut down on the foot traffic and the possible walkthroughs that you don't want.
Okay.
I think long-term, it would be beneficial to you.
There's a park there on,
Park on Oakley Street.
Oakley Street, and there's a convenience store on Webb Avenue. And I could just, see how that could happen, but, anyways, I just thought about something. I don't think it does though. Can you pull up the GIS for a second? So this doesn't touch any parcels that are on Oakley, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's all I wanted to make sure of. What's the price difference between the Shake and the Hardy Plank?
I think my builder said about 3,000 a unit.
Is that a deal killer for you, or would you be willing to do it?
Um,
Because I mean, we can pass something that requires you to do it. But if it's going to, stop your overall project, I think you need to say that now. But I mean, for me, I would be in favor of the lighting, additional lighting, the Hardy Plank that you had originally proposed, and keep the 6-foot fence, and I would be, that's just me, agreeable. But here in Graham, I think that we really try to ask our developers to work with us to build a really quality development. And I think that, I know you grew up in this area, but I know you're from Maryland now, but I mean, the price of housing and the shortage of housing in this area, you will have it. I think you will get it back so quickly, and you'll have it rented so quickly. So really would hope you would agree to do that. But I can't, if we pass something and then you say ultimately you're the developer and you can say no.
I will, typically 48 units is a very small deal, and that's just with the funding program and its sort of constraints this year. It's pushed us down to smaller deals this year. We lose, typical for us is 72, 84, 96 units in this program. And, again, probably 2 or 3 to 1 projects are family versus elderly, and the family ones the numbers are a little bit better. And with all those things, you get better economies of scale. What we're facing on this one is, again, a smaller unit count. It's elderly, so it doesn't, we just have smaller units, and, just certain moving parts on the site, as you've seen.
Did you ask for more units, or the land
The
prohibits
land
you
just
from?
won't take it. It just, I mean, we really have kind of you know, you see with the parking and everything, it just, it doesn't want more. If we get into more, we'll get into retaining walls and all kinds of problems nobody wants. So, you know, I know I'm a developer saying we're financially a little bit stressed underwriting wise at this juncture. I would say, you know,
Could you do,
my preference would be to do the vinyl. If, you know, costs are moving, still kind of volatile. If we find savings, we would want to move to hardy, but again, the vinyl is, these vinyl products are sort of a matted look. So they, at a distance, they really look like hardy. It's a good product. I'm actually kind of excited to try it, but that would be my preference.
okay, and you wouldn't be willing to do it maybe on the facade and doing something on the back? But doing hardy on the front?
Never considered that. I probably want to talk to my architect or builder. I don't know if that's, you have any experience on that? I don't know if
Okay.
that's possible.
I had one more question. On the entrances and the exits, I see from the drawing, it looks like you've got one at either end of the building and then one in the front. So there won't be any entrances or exits on the back side at all?
So, if we can go back to that picture real quick.
The elevation.
If you, yeah, on the elevation. Yeah. You can see on the backside, there's that covered, seating area on the first floor.
Okay.
So you will have a door going out the back to access that area.
I think that flows into the community room. And then the front is a covered drop-off
Okay.
entrance.
Thank you.
What is the percentage is there any percentages that you have to meet? All of this would be 100% 55 and older, but I know like for some of the other affordable housing financing, don't they do percentages so much?
In the 55 and older product, which is different than the 62 and older, there is an ability to, I think it's 5% of the units can be rented to age restricted.
Mhm.
So I think the number is 5%. So whatever 5% of 48 would be 2 or 3 units, maybe. But, you know, we've already had a market study done. The market studies are commissioned by NCHFA, so they're not developer controlled. There's a very, very strong market capture rate. Most capture rates were less than 10%, which is excellent. So it just shows the market is strong. In other words, I don't think we'll have any challenges finding 55 and older folks to live here.
And so basically the housing agency provides 20% of the financing, is that correct?
The tax credits are end up being about 70, different on every deal, but I'd say on this one, probably 85% of the total funding,
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't know it was that high.
maybe 75%. There's another loan program they sometimes couple with it. And then for the final 10 or 20%, it'll be a regular apartment, commercial loan.
No.
permanent.
And you keep the subsidy going for 30 years,
That's
is that
correct.
correct? And then at that time you can, you're not under any obligation to charge anything.
That's correct. I've not been in the industry long enough to
Right.
see it through to 30 years, but they typically get refinanced, maybe somebody else comes in and buys them and it just sort of refreshes it with some rehabilitation kind of program monies, whatever, and just sort of reset a new loan and put a new roof on it and all those things. And typically re-enter into a new Lura for another 15 or 30 years.
Okay, thank you.
How many elevators are we talking about in there too? I'm just curious.
One.
One, like it, where is it, will it be in the middle of the complex or, and that's it, just one?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that was all.
Thank you.
Dean, did the planning board, I didn't get a chance to watch the meeting. Did they have any concerns? Do you mind standing there so that they can get a good recording?
There were some questions about the 55 and older. That doesn't restrict preteen kids from living there. It just restricts them from being able to rent the unit. Someone has to be 55 and older. That was a concern. The cars, the number of cars, he was real apparent from the board. It was a big consensus that we all had issues with this 48 parking spaces. He was very good to agree to increase the number of spaces and worked with us every way that we could to get this facilitated and approved by the board. But I think it'll be a good project for the city.
What did you think about the shake siding versus the party plank?
You know, that's just a preference. If you go out there today and all the new product lines that are out there, and if you actually look at it, if you don't walk up to it and you've seen it from the road, you'd probably be pretty impressed with it. If you walk up and look at it, you're gonna be impressed, but it really looks good. I like the shakes. I like Hardy Plank. It's just a preference. They both gonna achieve the same thing aesthetically.
Okay. Thank you. I need a motion to, and a second to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion. We close the public hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Discuss among ourselves. Is there any other concerns that y'all have?
Right now, the only main concern I have is probably gonna be with the elevator, because if you only have one elevator, you've obviously got a lot of senior citizens in there. If it were to break or be out of service, somebody's gonna be walking up 4 flights of stairs that probably shouldn't be. So that is a concern of mine, but I mean, overall, I think it's a good project. Might need more than 6 handicap spaces. I don't think they could increase the parking any more than they've already done. They just don't have the space for it with the layout of the property, so. But overall, I think it's a good project, but like Dean said too, you know, we need to make sure that they don't let any, you know, anybody under 55 live there, period. So, you know, if somebody's got, you know, a 14, 15-year-old they want to bring in there with them, I don't think they should be allowed to do that, so.
Is that something that the housing authority, the housing agency, housing funding agency, has a condition on?
That goes against fair housing and sort of programmatic requirements. In this.
That's what my thought was.
Right.
But you said no one under 55 can lease.
At least one person on the lease has to be 55 and older. 55-year-old might be married to a 3-year-old. That 3-year-old can be on lease. at least purchase.
And the most, it'd be different, I think, if you have 3 bedroom, but if you have 2 and 1 bedrooms, I don't think you're gonna have a whole lot of problem. I think, the housing authority requires for anybody to be, I think the most you can have is like 3 people in a 2 bedroom, isn't it?
And we do, 2, I believe it's 2 maximum, in family product, it's 2 per bed.
Okay. So 4 would be the maximum. Any feelings?
Okay, I think, again, would be a welcome addition to have this senior facility there. In regards to the conditions of the additional parking spaces, the fencing, the lighting, and if deciding becomes a concern of hardy board or vinyl, if we were to prioritize the conditions based on the planning board's recommended conditions, my priority would be the additional parking, the screening, lighting, and then the siding.
Ricky?
I agree with Bobby. As he lined it up, the parking, the lighting, the fencing, and whatever siding they can work out.
Joy, what's your feeling? You like the fence? You like the lighting?
Yeah, and I don't really have a preference on the lighting, to be honest with you. I mean, as long as they meet the code and it's gonna be good lighting, I don't have any problem with, as long as it's with code. And, I do like the fence and the additional 18 parking spots. Anything other than that, I'm okay with.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the rezoning request. That this action is reasonable and in the public's interest and is consistent with the Graham's 2035 comprehensive plan, and the action does support policy 4.3.1 land use patterns, policy 5.1.2 variety of ownership opportunities, and policy 5.2.1 diverse neighborhood, and to include the planning board's recommendations to include 18 additional parking spaces and fence screening along the property lines is it all the property lines, or is it just in the back?
It's the rear and then along the sides towards the front of the building.
Okay, that doesn't seem very,
Well, mainly because it's a stream, so you couldn't come past the front part of the building.
okay. So fence screening along the rear of the property lines coming up to the stream,
Front side of the building.
to the front side of the building, okay? And I would, put an additional condition of lighting in the rear area, which includes motion lights, and ask that if the hardy plank is not used, that something similar to the shake siding that was presented at the city council meeting be also used. And if you could get a copy of what he presented, Aaron, and put that with the conditional use
Second your motion, Mayor.
So does the 18 additional spaces bring it up to 66?
Yes.
Okay.
And so just to be clear, Mr. Brock, I'm sorry. We prefer the hardy plank and that is approved under the conditional use. But in the event that you can't do that, we will allow the shake siding as presented tonight in tonight's meeting. Try to work towards the hardy plank though, if we can. I have a motion and a second. Do I hear, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Excuse me.
Aaron wanted to say something.
Sorry,
Well, I was going to catch you before you made your motion.
sorry.
That he agrees to the conditions and then you. If he's fine.
Can you say that? I mean, just get up there and say that so that we have a recording of that.
I agree to the conditions. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, I had a motion. Who seconded?
I seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Likewise, motion carries. Our new business is Jackie, Fortner, if you could please come forward. This is in regard to a street closing on May the 13th for the Big C concert. That's going to be moved down to the Graham Amphitheater on East Elm Street from 12 to 10 p.m.
Good evening, Mayor, Honorable Council.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wagner.
Honorable Mayor, I bring to you the proposal I filled out, Aaron's, the packet. I'm here tonight just to see what your pleasure is and what you would intend for us to do.
So, this is really just, we need a motion and a second to approve the special events application for the street closure for the 2023 Big C concert located in downtown Graham, with the idea that closing off the street due to a lot of pedestrian traffic would be safest. Do I hear a motion to approve the special event application?
Mayor,
I make a motion that we approve the special event application for the street closure on May 13th.
Do I hear a second?
I seconded.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
I
will you
was gonna
finish?
read the rest of it.
Oh,
but
I'm
that's
so
okay.
sorry. I
That's all right.
apologize. Go ahead.
To close the 100 block of
Okay.
East Elm Street from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. Sorry.
I'm trying to get done.
I-
I heard a pause, so, do I hear a second?
I second Bonnie's. motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. We're very excited to have, all the bands come down here for this, Christian concert here. It can be located at the amphitheater at 104 East Elm Street and can't wait to see it.
Well, we had a meeting last night. The E-board did for the Big C. A lot of questions. And I said, I can't answer none of these. I ain't been before the meeting yet. I don't even know if they may run us out of town. So I will email tonight back to our board that it's a go and everything's a go. Is there anything else that we need to do that I need to get to Aaron before we proceed on?
I think you just need to make sure you have adequate bathroom facilities, some porta johns
that's it.
and, some trash cans and, certainly we'll note the part of this process is to notify Burke about the extra trash that'll be there, as a result of the event, but.
Yes, so Mr. Fortner has been part of the email
Mhm.
conversation that we have with the different departments that are involved with the different events. What I do, I shoot you an email tomorrow
Okay.
and just make sure that Burke and Tommy and
Public Works with the,
yeah.
they'll, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, everyone that we had on the initial
On the
chain
chain,
knows that it's been approved, and any final comment, because I know there are a couple of things that I had sent you that I would still need squared away.
The one was the insurance and we didn't know if we was gonna need it or not, depending on the road closure.
Right.
So I can go back to the board. That's not gonna be an issue. It's just I didn't know if we needed it or not. Had to wait till after tonight to see what we needed to
Yeah, it
do.
was that and I think EDS from police. But then they had like the extra duty solutions.
And the way I read the email, they were not going to do nothing but just have officers drop in and out through the period of the shifts is the way I read it. I didn't know if it was,
And we can clarify that with
okay.
Captain Velez tomorrow, just to make sure that everything is straightforward and able to be handled on that day.
And just as soon as I get the insurance with the city as a rider, I'll bring it, give it to you so you can put it on the file so that we'll have
So
everything.
they don't own the property. They just doing the event. So they just need event insurance. Is that what she?
It's basically just covering the event and the occurrence within that space. So I believe he knows which one it would be.
It was actually for the street closing, if anything happened on the street. The event property itself was already took care of, but it was
Yeah, we wouldn't need anything for
it
that.
was my understanding about the street section there that you all have graciously closed tonight. In case anything happened on the street, the city and us would be covered under that. I think that was
Yes, sir.
my understanding.
Yep.
And I'll get that to you just as soon as I get it done after tonight.
Okay.
Thank
you
you
so
all very much, and I welcome you, and I will bring you the finalization poster. It goes to printing by the 21st. So I will bring that to you so you can stick that in the file, and we welcome everybody there for a good time.
We put a big A-frame poster up today on
Okay.
Fort Square.
Good, thank y'all.
It has all the different bands and stuff that'll be
Right.
there. Thank you so much
Thank
for
y'all, we
doing that.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mhm. Have a good day. Moving on our agenda, appoint a voting delegate. The city council will designate a delegate to vote in the electronic voting process for the North Carolina League of Municipalities Board of Elections and to vote on the league's bylaws on behalf of the city of Graham. Megan Garner, our esteemed city manager.
Have much to add other than what you said. I will point out that the voting will be electronic, similar to the goal setting session earlier this year. So whoever you appoint can electronically cast those ballots between the dates of April 14th and April 19th. You will be voting on the slate of the board of directors for the league and any proposed bylaw changes.
Okay. And it needs to be somebody that is, who did you say?
It can be any one of you,
Oh, it can be any one of us.
anyone.
Okay. I thought it had to be somebody that was already like chosen.
No, you will pick the chosen one right now.
Oh, okay. All right.
Madam Mayor,
Mm,
I would like to make a motion to appoint Ricky.
okay. Second,
I second it.
Colin, we didn't agree. Do we have to get him to agree or we can just vote on it?
No, I'll take on the position. Yes.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Authorization, authorized conveyance vehicles, Elements Community College. City Council will consider adopting a resolution authorizing the conveyance of a 2008 Chevy Impala and two 2010 Crown Victoria vehicles to the Elements Community College pursuant to General Statutes 160A-274. And I'll recognize, Dwayne Flood, not Tony Velez.
All right, so yes, what this is going through our vehicles. This is 3 of our vehicles that are no longer in use that we want to surplus and haven't been involved in this for years. It's actually more fiscally responsible for the city to do something like this, donating to the community college as it would be for us to try to strip the vehicles and sell them. What we get back off trying to sell the vehicles, by the time we put the money into stripping all the equipment out of them, because we can't sell them with the equipment in them. The lights and all that, we'd have to strip the striping, things of that nature off the side of them. By the time we put that cost into getting the vehicle where we can sell it,
by the time we turn around and sell the vehicle, we've actually lost money in the end, because it just don't bring out much. But all three of them, the 2008 Chevy Impala's got about 100,000 miles on it, but it currently needs a transmission. It's one reason why we took it out. The car still looks good, but it needs a transmission. It's gonna cost us about $7,000 just to replace the transmission in that car. So it's just not, again, it's not worth putting the cost into it to replace that transmission. The two Crown Victorias, they're two of the oldest cars that we've got. They've got about 110 on one, 112,000 roughly on the other one. And then again, it comes down to the maintenance costs of keeping those vehicles up. And again, donated to ACC, gets rid of cars that we don't need anymore. It also helps the program. What actually ends up happening, like we even spoke with them about the Impala, and all three of the cars, what it actually do is it go to their automotive program first. The students there get to learn to work on the cars and get them ready, and then it would go to the BLET, and literally they just gonna take them out on the track and tear them up. That's what they're gonna use them for, is to learn with driver's training, things of that nature, and get the use out of it as long as they can there, to get, to help train the BLET cadets. So we're just asking for the city council to approve for us to donate them to ACC and get rid of.
So
that
you don't have to
property.
take anything off when you,
No, when we give them the ACC, because they're gonna use them for the BLET program, they go just like they are. We don't have to invest any money into taking any equipment out of them or anything. And the equipment that's in them now, especially you're looking at the age of those 2010 Crown Vics, they don't make Crown Vics anymore. So like your equipment, like your light bars, your center consoles, they're specific to the type of vehicles. So the light bar is nothing that we can't take it off and put it onto another vehicle. It won't work.
there's nothing new on them now, like a computer or anything that we can.
No, we don't leave computers in them. The computers come out. So literally the equipment that's in it is outdated equipment that we can't recycle to another vehicle now.
Thank you so much. Anybody have any questions?
Nope.
Okay, and we'll need a motion from the council.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we convey the three vehicles to Alamance Community College pursuant to General Statute 160A-274.
Do I hear a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. I know that no one signed up in the back for the public comment, but I believe I have someone here for public comment. Are you here about Chicks Lane? Okay, if you'd like to come up, ma'am, and state your name and address. We had a radio show this morning and she called with some concerns about her gravel road. And I told her, I said, well, actually, we're having a city council meeting tonight, so we'd love for you to come and address the council as a whole. So if you'll just kind of state your name, your address, and then what your concern is.
My name is Sue Amos, and I live off of Chicks Lane at the corner of Rumar and Amos. I was trying to figure out how long ago it was when they took us into the city, kicking and screaming. We did not want to go. That's the reason I bought in Graham and out on 87, so I could kind of be out in the country. And then when I wanted to go to town, I could get in the car and drive 3 miles. But they came out and got us several years ago. And at that point in time, there was a big house at the end of Amos Lane. But nobody traveled that road except me and usually one other couple down there. But they've put a business up there and they are restoring old cars. And they bring them down in big, look like wreckers with a straight back.
Mhm.
They come in with all kinds of vans carrying these cars. And when they come off of Chicks Lane down Rumar, they make that turn and they throw all this dust on my house, my car. Half the time I don't know what color my car is because of all the dust. And I can even walk out of my house. They're already at the top of the hill and the dust is still settling out there. And I've asked before, trying to get somebody to do something, even bring me some gravel. And I can't get any satisfaction at all.
Aaron, can you pull up Amos and Cheeks Lane? which part is gravel there?
Amos Lane, when you turn off of Rumar onto Amos,
Mm-hmm.
the whole road is gravel. Well, you can say gravel. I don't have any up at the top.
Oh.
I've even asked if they could, maybe put a sign asking them to slow down.
Is that zone business, Aaron? Or is all those parcels zoned residential?
But we have the UPS, we have the Amazon, we have every kind of courier there is running up and down that road. I've actually gone out and stood out in the middle of the road. And I thought I was gonna get run over. I mean, with my hand up, asking them to slow down, but it doesn't. do
And
any
which
good.
home is yours, ma'am?
Beg your pardon?
Which home is yours on the map there? It's the one right there, right? With the
Right on the corner.
arrow on it?
The what?
Right there on the corner.
Yeah.
And so the front part is paved and the side,
The side part is paved. And my front is facing the gravel road. That's Rumar goes, you turn off a Chicks Lane on the Rumar. And it
Uh-huh.
goes by the side of my house. And if you turn on Amos, it goes by the front.
you know if that road is scheduled to be paved at all, Aaron? I know he has a
Owns that
list of
road.
roads, but I don't know if that's one of them.
Who owns that road, Aaron? Is it a city road or is it a? Okay.
Schedules.
So would she be okay to contact Burke to get more gravel out there on that road? This is a city maintained road.
I'll probably suggest reaching out to Bert just to see what suggestions he may have. I'm not sure what it takes gravel wise to go out there, and I don't want to speak incorrectly when Burke's the expert when it comes to the roads on that part.
What's the speed limit on that road now? Do we know?
There is no speed limit.
There is no,
now.
okay, so like maybe post some
And so if the guy, is the
10-mile-an-hour
guy,
speed limit or something.
is the person that has the business not outside of the city of Graham? Is he in that parcel that's to the right?
I think he's considered a farm up on the top of the hill.
Mr. Johnson is, this is personal stuff. He owns a lot of vehicles and it's not a open business. It's not a business. It's his own personal collection that he restores.
But what I don't understand is why he's got a big wide driveway that he couldn't allow them to come up there instead of coming through and throwing dust all over me.
The driveway does not connect. I remember this property when I worked for the county, because they actually come in to get a building permit. It was a red flag at that point. Because abutted the city of Graham, and the city was notified about it. Is there any way that's possible that we can have NCDOT look at taking over Amos as a state road?
We would give them every road they were willing to take. I just don't think DOT's jumping at wanting to take any roads. No, it doesn't.
Got a state road number on it, don't it?
Do you know what the speed limit is
Reason I
on
asked, I
Amos?
was out that way.
There is no speed limit on Amos.
I think it's got
That's
state
that's the problem.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So when you say there's no speed limit, there are signs in the city of Graham that says if no speed limit sign is posted, it's automatically 35.
35 down through there. is
That's,
fast.
yeah, that's gonna be.
Yeah.
awful
It's a
fast.
straight downhill.
No, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, if there's no sign posted,
Okay.
then it is 35. So Aaron, what is your, like, from hearing what she's saying, I mean, if it's not gonna be paved and the city is, it's not on the list to be paved anytime soon, what is a solution that we can give her to try to slow the traffic down, to turn the put up a speed limit sign of, 20 miles an hour or,
Yeah, I think for us to speak with Bert would be the best solution, just to make sure that we're gonna come back with the best option. I mean, we could come up with an option. I just don't want to come up with one that's not the best one.
okay,
Sometimes slowing things down or, a lot of times people want to have stops along the way. Well, that creates a new problem. So I just want to make sure whatever solution that we do, Bert has had time to kind of add his 2 cents in on this. Bert Robertson is our Public Works Director. And what I can do, if I can get your information, I can pass it along for him to give you a call. We'll see him tomorrow at a staff meeting, so I make sure to pass that information on. So if you write your name on this, I can pass that along.
One other thing is, for the time being, to get something done, what would it take to put a speed hump?
to put a,
Speed hump, just after you make the turn, so it slow them down.
Again,
yeah, they don't,
again, we need to let. go
So yeah,
through
even
Bert.
a speed hump creates a problem.
Right.
Yeah, it sounds like a great solution until you put it down, and then it creates a problem when you're having to do certain maintenance. So not saying that's not something that's not the best solution. I just rather have Bert chime in on that one as well.
I think,
Okay.
you
but
know,
they'll get back to you. I mean, like, they'll get back to you within 48 hours. I mean, we have a great staff here. The council as a whole, we're all here to service the citizens and, it's a very short area and I feel like there's a solution that's available to us. But we just need to pull in our Public Works Director to kind of hear what his recommendations are and then try to move forward with that. But, we will get a resolution.
And Mayor Tally,
Okay.
if I may add, our Public Works Director, Burke Robertson, said they usually run the grader down it in the spring and add rock every couple of years. But he said they would go out there and check it as soon as they finish the Climax Street project they're working on. So as soon as they get wrapped up, they'll be out there. And he said he would be in contact with you.
See how fast?
That's Bert.
Okay.
I've been mad all these years, and all I need to do is come to the meeting.
That's right. Call the radio station and I said, just come to the meeting. I'm very happy that you're feeling a little bit better. So, and I think it's important that citizens feel like they are listened to. And, so if nothing else, you get your say out, right? So. But thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Josh, do you have anything? Megan, do you have anything? Aaron?
Actually have 2 things. First one, we have a total ordinance amendment request from our police department. There's an antiquated ordinance in there currently that requires 24-hour record clerk's presence that was done many moons ago. Technology has obviously changed a lot and the coverage is handled in a way that you don't necessarily, thank you. You don't necessarily need to have that ordinance in the ordinance currently that forces us to do probably more personnel than we need for that particular item. I think if council is okay with it, I was going to bring back an amendment next month for y'all to consider. I just have to have a consensus before I do that.
I'm agreeable to it.
I'm
I'm
agreeable.
agreeable to it.
That's
I don't like less service. I like more service.
I think the service is actually better with what we're able to do than to have that. But I'll let them speak on that one. I don't want to overstep with that. And the other item was another code of ordinance amendment. Councilman Hall had submitted one where we would put something in our code to address the grass clippings that folks are blowing into the street. I know that's something that you see in other areas, especially when it deals with clogging up
Storm drains.
storm drain and stuff. So
That's illegal.
Yep, it is.
we would like to have that in our codes.
I'm all in favor of the ordinance amendment, but yeah, that's a illicit discharge.
Yes. And I know we address it there. So we want to get council blessing to look into doing a code amendment. If it's already addressed in our illicit discharge ordinance, then we may be covered there. But with the request being here, we wanted to at least get council's permission for us to look into it deeper. And if we need to bring something back next month, then we have your permission to do so.
I'll recuse myself from this one.
Well, when you look at it, also look at enforcement. Because if we have an ordinance and there's no enforcement conditions, then why have it?
Yes, sir.
Second what Bobby said.
Thank you.
I'm good with you looking into it.
Well, I do want to hear from the police department as to why, I mean, just things don't happen just between 9 and 5. So having somebody answer the phone and not just getting a voicemail,
Right. So the way it's set up now.
there's a reason why the ordinance exists
Right.
to
We're
begin.
we're not looking to cut it off at 5 o'clock. What we've been doing is, our ordinance does, and it's been like that for years, says we gotta have somebody there 24/7 around the clock. Having been over that division and looking back at it, we were actually hitting when we were had that night shift coverage, we were literally paying somebody there for the phone to never ring, nobody ever walk in. With the new phone system we got now, it will direct them to 911. If somebody, and we're talking about after 10 PM, 11 PM at night, if they walk in, there's a phone, they grab it, it connects them right to 911. And we're literally at a point now when it's very hard to find somebody willing to come in for no more than 20 hours a week and sit by themselves in the records division on third shift. We're not just saying, all right, at 5 o'clock, we're closing the doors. The doors of the lobby still be open. They still have access to call a police officer. If they call in, the phone calls will still be routed. It's just having a physical person sitting there at the desk is all it is. It's actually having a physical person sitting there on third shift overnight.
What I want to have is an assurance that if someone calls 911, which now doesn't go to Alamance County, goes to Burlington, with the delay, that there is somebody there that knows how to contact somebody.
Well, literally the way our system is now and the way it's been for a number of years, even with somebody sitting there, if you have somebody call, then if they call call the PD, literally just like calling 911, we would have to physically transfer that call. And then if they walked into the lobby and said, hey, I need an officer, because there's not an officer sitting there at the desk, and it hasn't been in 25 years. We haven't had a desk officer that I've been there. Literally that person at the desk would be, okay, grab the phone on the wall there and let the dispatcher know. So it's just taking, it's just the level of service is still there. The level of service, you're still gonna get routed to get an officer dispatched to you. It's not gonna take any of that away. It's just literally, the only thing that's disappearing is that requirement by ordinance for us to have somebody physically sitting there at that desk.
But there's always somebody that is going to answer a call.
Yes, calls ain't gonna go unanswered.
That's what I want to
Yes.
make
Yeah, the
sure.
calls aren't gonna go unanswered.
So I know that like things that typically people call, that I hear people call about, is their water's cut off. They've got somebody elderly there. They have some sort of, it's not necessarily a, life-threatening issue, but they need a police officer there
Right,
to
and those,
assist
and,
them.
and now those calls aren't coming into the PD anyway. Literally, the majority of our phone calls is between that 8 to 5, people calling on reports, things of that nature. After 5 o'clock, from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock, couple of calls. We actually tracked it at one point. We had them sitting there, when I was over the division, I had them sitting there for a while and was looking at this and actually doing a check sheet of marking how many phone calls you get, how many people walk in the lobby so that we could do this. We did that study on it, and we're literally finding they're not getting it because those calls are getting routed. We're not seeing the people come in. And like I say, this is not, all right, at 5 o'clock, we're locking in the doors. You're not getting a police officer. It's just, we won't have somebody physically sitting there at the window. The calls will still get answered. They'll still have access to officers. Somebody comes in needing help. Like I say, even if we had somebody at that desk, all they would do is like, okay, grab the phone on the wall right there. And, and even on times now, when we don't have somebody, because we use part-time staffing for it, we don't always have somebody available or they call out. Literally now the procedure is if we don't have somebody there, we got a sign that says, hey, if you need a police officer, grab the phone on the wall, and they grab that. I think if you go around and look throughout the nation, most police departments now, after a certain time, they don't have that traditional desk officer anymore. Somebody sitting on that desk, they've got a way to where you can contact and have an officer gotten to you instead of somebody physically sitting there. So is the phone system set up so that I walk in, pick up the phone? You walk in and pick
You
up that
have a
phone.
choice of, is it an emergency? Press 911.
You walk and grab that phone on the wall, and as soon as you grab it, it starts ringing into the communication center.
Okay.
Okay. So you're gonna draft something and bring that to us for the next council meeting.
Yes.
Joy, Renee, did you have anything? Do you have anything?
Yeah, ma'am.
Aaron, is there any way that we can get 140 East Elm Street back before the Historical Properties Commission so that building can be justly demolished? The windows and doors are standing wide open, and it looks like a great haven for homeless people. Is there something we can do to get that property back before the HRC?
Yes, sir. So I actually had a recent conversation with our inspections director and Cameron, our planner, to talk about what we can do about that particular building. Jamie has reached out to the owner, and it sounds like he's going to resubmit to the HRC to have a reconsideration to have it torn down. It was denied. Well, it was denied the last time.
Will he have to pay?
So
the
they
money
can't
all over
deny it.
again?
They put a moratorium on it to delay it.
Well, it was approved to go through to start with the time lapse. And he basically had 365-day stay on it to not do anything to it. But he has to come back for reconsideration. So essentially, it was forcing him to have to come back.
Yeah.
And will he have to pay the fee again? Because that would be not be right.
There a fee?
I have to look back at that. I'm not.
I don't think there's a
sure.
fee. I think
Okay.
it's a regularly scheduled meeting. I don't think there's a fee, is there?
I'd check in on that one. I'm not sure.
I think it's cool.
I think you have to post a bond for the demolition, but I don't think there's a fee, and that's a deposit that you get back as long as you complete the demolition and do that.
Not there. For clarification, is this a building on the corner, formerly a law office?
Yes. And, just wanted to say that, I continue to get, complaints about, noise on Melville Street. gotten them for months. I proposed an ordinance which got shut down by our legal department. A couple of, I don't know, I'd say over 6 or 7 months ago. And then I think Bobby has proposed something.
In fact, I drafted a noise proposal, which I submitted, and I would like the council to approve for the, did you take a look at it?
Have you
And
looked at it yet? Be nice. I mean, be nice about it. I understand where you're coming from.
well, the noise ordinance that I had proposed based upon statute about the level of noise and such and how you would measure it. That's the challenge. What's considered, loud. And what it brought it up was a couple, 3 weeks ago, somebody drove through the, town square and they had turned off their muffler, but it was screaming. And Tommy Purcell, who is sensitive to noise,
So sad.
he was cleaning up, he was picking up litter in Court Square when somebody drove through around the courthouse and they were loud. So I did research, found ordinances that had been written using federal statute as to noise levels. And so I sent it to Megan, and I'd like for the council or the staff to take a look at it and then have legal look at it. Because there are some folks who seem to take great pleasure in disconnecting their muffler, flipping a switch, and, driving through neighborhoods along Moore Avenue and other streets. And there's no reason for that.
Yes, well, we appreciate that. Well, I mean, I think what I had sent to you originally was, I mean, they're doing it in other municipalities, and you say, well, they might be doing it, but it doesn't make it legal. But, and I want you to keep us legal. We need to keep us out of trouble and keep us legal. But, I do think there's a great concern about the harm that it can do. I mean, in this situation, this person has a traumatic brain injury and his reactions are emotional, physical. It's really hard to watch. And maybe the person driving the car has no idea how he's physically harming somebody else by this, but it's really upsetting to watch when you see it. I mean, I'm sure Bobby felt the same way I did. It's
It was
not,
loud. It was really loud.
yeah, but I mean, Tommy's reaction was
Oh, yeah,
really,
we watched it. We could see it.
that's really upsetting.
That's what motivated me to.
Yeah, and so I continue. I just got 2 complaints since the last city council meeting about Melville Street. If there's any way we can step up patrol in that area. They say that they're, racing on the street and the muffler's really loud and they're intentionally making it backfire. And they've been talked to, I think, by police, and I don't know, something just seems like nothing's getting better in that situation. And so somebody actually called the radio show, but I also was in the store the other day and somebody complained to me there as well. They live right off of Albright Street. So bringing up Albright Street, I talked to some of the residents. I went down there and talked to some of the residents to see how our neighborhood water enhancement plan. For those of you that don't know, we've started a neighborhood water enhancement plan here in Graham to try to upgrade the water lines and the quality of the water lines here in the north part of Graham, which are the oldest lines in Graham. And they just got rave reviews about our contractor that we hired, and that everything has been so professional that they haven't had any problems getting in and out. They've kept the road clean. And they've done a really good job. So I just wanted to relay that back from kind of my cursory survey of that area. And we are, asking our legislators to let us know about any money that's available. When will we find out about the block grant?
If you're referring to the CDBG infrastructure grant, we were denied funding for that.
That's sad. We're not gonna stop asking for money. So we're gonna keep asking for money until we get it. So we are working on that program. I've talked to a couple legislators already that's trying to put us in contact with some money to be able to fund that project. And we're working on the land development plan. We have some more meetings scheduled this upcoming month.
So they should, I think we did a doodle poll. So I think there's a meeting that's gonna be scheduled here at some point, so you're gonna look out for that.
Okay. And I wanted to ask if there's a time that we can sit down and what for budget, like it seemed like I know last year was kind of like hard because we just started, but I'd like for maybe a couple of us to sit down and kind of meet with you, Megan, and I don't know if department heads need to be there or whatever, but to just talk to you about some of the things that we're hearing back from the residents that we would like to see in the upcoming budget concerns that we might have that we want to see happen in the next upcoming budget.
Yeah, so the budget presentation is scheduled for May 9th. So if there are concerns or questions that you're getting from the community, please be sure to relay them. And the budget will be presented that night, and you will get a copy of the book that night, and it'll be posted on our website like it usually is. So I would welcome any individual meetings.
Okay. And I think that's it. We're working on those kind of projects. Also, if anybody has any comments or concerns that they want to bring up about the downtown master plan, I think we're trying to assimilate them and send them all to Aaron. I've been working on that for a couple weeks, additional ones, the ones that I had before. I'm trying to get with certain residents that had concerns and get all that to Aaron so that we can kind of try to move forward on that project as well. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I had something.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Sorry.
I apologize. Go ahead.
No, the appearance/tree board had their meeting last night, and they had come up with something they call committee code of conduct guidelines that they wanted me to present to you guys. I know we had thought about that a while back, just having some guidelines for conduct amongst the appointed committees that we have. Anyway, I have that, and I can email it to Aaron and Megan, and they can disseminate it to everybody if we could
Okay.
maybe take a look at that and maybe get it on the agenda to discuss it.
All right, that sounds great.
So I just wanted to bring that forth, and also to let Megan and Aaron know they're also going to be coming. You're going to get an email from probably Carmen, who is the chair for the appearance board, regarding some budget requests. So I told her, send them to you and Aaron. So.
And I appreciate you being here tonight from ACTA. Is that right? Yes. So. That's it. Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. In and out by 7:30. Not too bad.
Long time no see.
Hey, who did you give the proclamation to? David? Here you go, David. Yeah, of course. I did. Did you like it? Yeah, thank you.
Good showing.
Yeah, we always have it. I think it would have been even bigger if we didn't have the rain, because I had a couple of people that called me.
Yeah. Yes, that's correct. You can't have those. But even then.
But you know what? I think I always feel like God has a reason and a hand in things. We have a Christian concert this weekend with a car that starts at 7. We have a Easter egg hunt from 1 to 6.
Right.
And we have a car cruise in at 4. So I think it's gonna be a fun time this weekend.
Okay, thank you. You give them another? Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Yeah. Thanks for the fresh bowls, right? That's it. I did.
Did you go to the get an acai bar? Did you go get a bowl? Oh, no, not yet. No, we're working on that though. No, I have to hire some more. Chuck's he wants to make sure that all of like you have to have certain sinks and all that stuff. And well, some of he really wants to get that machine that basically makes the stuff. He doesn't want to have to bring it in buckets and like kind of do it there. He wants to have the machine that makes it. So it's going to be expensive. And then we're putting coffee in there, and he was looking at I'm like, Chuck, we are not, okay, you know, these people, that we are not a Starbucks, okay? We're not going to be and he's like, do you realize that the guy upstairs used to be a barista? I was like, we are not. So the guy upstairs that works upstairs for us, mostly, he's usually in the second floor. He sells shoes. He's great. He's very outdoors and hikes and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, very knowledgeable. He's very knowledgeable. So he used to be a barista. So I was like, listen, we need to be able to teach these young people how to do this coffee, like simple, keep it simple, stupid. I don't want somebody coming in there with some convoluted coffee thing, coffee order.
I want a double drop mocha espresso, extra cream, and it's like, once you decipher what they're actually saying. Coffee with cream, double caffeine. Don't even drink Starbucks then. Yeah. Hey.
But we came back in there the other